Hello guys, let's talk about West Africa. But before that, if you've not subscribed, please hit the subscription button and let's get into today's video. A region of 16 countries, home to over 400 million people. A place that's been buzzing lately, and not just because of the incredible music that's taking over global charts or the legendary, and let's be honest, never-ending jollof rice debates. Beneath that vibrant surface, a story of immense potential is unfolding. This is one of the youngest regions on Earth, brimming with innovation, creativity, and a powerful desire to chart its own course. But there's a different kind of drama playing out in the corridors of power, a tense political thriller, and it feels like we're watching a sequel to a movie we thought had ended decades ago. Call it colonialism, the remix. The old script of direct rule is gone, replaced by a more subtle modern playbook of economic influence, strategic alliances, and the lingering shadow of military presence. It's a complex web of dependencies that many are now fighting to untangle. At the center of this storm, you have figures like French President Emmanuel Macron. He's young, slick, and speaks of a renewed partnership. But for many on the continent, these words ring hollow, sounding like a new coat of paint on the old exploitative structure of Francafrique. And then you have leaders like Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara, a powerful figure from a generation that has often maintained close economic and political ties with Paris. He represents the old guard, a stark contrast to the new wave of leaders and a populace that is increasingly demanding true sovereignty. This sets the stage for the fundamental question of our time. Is France plotting a comeback, or is it desperately trying to cling to the influence it has left after being unceremoniously kicked out of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger? Is Paris now trying to re-establish a foothold through its remaining allies, effectively trying to sneak back in through the back door? The answer will define the future of millions. Alright, so to understand this whole drama, you need to know about one of the main actors, Alassane Ouattara. He's a highly educated economist who worked at the International Monetary Fund for years. This guy knows his numbers. He's seen as a stabilizing force by many in the West, someone they can do business with. When he was locked in a bitter political struggle for the presidency back in 2010 to 2011, who came to his aid? French forces. This history is crucial. When he speaks about regional security or economic policy, many people listen with a healthy dose of skepticism. They ask themselves, is he speaking as the president of Côte d'Ivoire, or is he also speaking for French interests? Now let's turn to the other side of this story. The rebels, the disruptors, the ones tearing up the old rule book. They call themselves the Alliance of Sahel States, or AES for short. This isn't just a political bloc, it's a statement of intent, born from a wave of popular frustration that swept across the region, demanding a radical change from the status quo. Think of them as the Avengers of West African sovereignty, if the Avengers were led by military juntas who are really tired of France. These leaders didn't come to power through the ballot box. They seized it in a series of coups, arguing the governments they overthrew were corrupt, ineffective, and too cozy with former colonial powers. They promised a new path, true independence. The AES is a mutual defense pact signed in September 2023. Its core principle is simple. An attack on one is an attack on all. This wasn't just about fighting insurgents. It was a direct challenge to the regional bloc ECOWAS, which had threatened military intervention after the coup in Niger. The AES was drawing a line in the sand, a line drawn right across the heart of the Sahel, a vast and unforgiving region south of the Sahara. For over a decade, these nations have been the epicenter of a brutal jihadist insurgency and extreme poverty, despite their natural wealth. They hosted thousands of French troops, but the violence only got worse. For many on the ground, the conclusion was inescapable. The old way, relying on foreign help that seemed to benefit outsiders more than locals, was a catastrophic failure. So why does this alliance send shockwaves all the way to Europe? Resources. These countries are sitting on a treasure trove. Mali and Burkina Faso have gold. and Niger has uranium. For decades, this uranium has been crucial for powering France's vast network of nuclear plants. The deals governing its extraction were old, and many in Niger felt they were getting pennies on the dollar for a vital national asset. So when the new leaders didn't just question these deals, but threatened to rip them up entirely, people in Paris weren't just paying attention. They were panicking. This was a direct threat to France's energy security and its long-standing economic and political influence in its former colony. The game had changed, and the stakes couldn't be higher. So, with its former allies in the Sahel giving it the cold shoulder, what is France's next move? President Macron has been talking a lot about building a relationship based on respect and partnership, but when you look closely at the actions, it feels more like a strategic repositioning. The economic motivation is huge. French companies have billions of dollars invested across West Africa in everything from banking and telecommunications to ports and agriculture. This means more loans, more development aid, and more contracts for French businesses. Then there's the political game. France needs friends in the region to counter the narrative being pushed by the AES. This creates a division within West Africa itself, a split between the pro-France bloc and the pro-sovereignty AES bloc. This entire political drama isn't just for the presidents and the generals. The most important audience is Africa's youth. The continent has the youngest population in the world, with a median age of just 19. This isn't merely a statistic, it's a demographic tidal wave, an engine of change whose voice is growing louder every day. These young people were born long after colonialism officially ended, but they're living with its consequences. They see national resources that don't benefit them and feel the constraints of economic systems limiting true financial sovereignty. They're educated, connected to the world through social media, and they are deeply, deeply frustrated. Their education and connectivity have only sharpened their awareness of the gap between their potential and their reality, creating a potent cocktail of disillusionment. That frustration is fueling a revolution online. Social media platforms like TikTok, X, and Facebook are flooded with content supporting the AES and criticizing French neocolonialism. It's a vibrant digital culture of resistance, viral memes, and powerful short videos explaining complex politics in seconds. This is a grassroots digital movement shaping public opinion with incredible speed. It bypasses traditional media, creating a shared Pan-African narrative of resistance and putting immense pressure on leaders. So here we are, at the climax of this continental drama. The formation of the AES isn't just a regional alliance, it's a seismic event, a direct challenge to the post-colonial order. This defiance raises the biggest and most difficult question of all. Is true, complete independence for these African nations even possible, or is it just a beautiful dream? The dream of true independence is not dead, but the road to achieving it is proving to be much longer and more complicated than anyone ever imagined. It's a perilous tightrope walk between asserting national pride and preventing economic collapse. Breaking free from one sphere of influence could mean falling into another, as other global powers offer partnerships with their own strings attached. The dream is being tested, and the outcome remains unwritten, hanging precariously in the balance.